Hey everybody, I'm Dennis. On this edition of Grilling with Granddaddy Daddy, we're gonna do a stuffed Boston butt. We're gonna cook it for about 10 hours on the big green egg. So let's get to it. Okay, so last night I set the Boston butt in a marinade of vinegar and pepper sauce. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this pan that I have marinated in, and I'm gonna add a little bit of apple juice to that, and I'm gonna put that up under the grate on the egg. So now what we've got is we've got a boneless Boston butt that's been marinating, and we're going to stuff it with some peppers, some red onions, and some diced jalapenos. Then we're going to put a rub on it, wrap it up, and we're going to get it on the grill. So let's get to work. All right, so these are just the mini peppers from Costco. I'm not going to cut them up real fine. So all I'm really going to do with these is cut them in half. Okay, so we got our jalapeno peppers, we got our red onions, and we've got our sweet peppers. So let's get our butt back over here. Before we stuff it, we're going to rub it with butt rub and garlic salt. Okay, since it's boneless, it's got a really big cavity in it. So we're going to make sure that we open this up, and we're going to fill the inside of that cavity. And you just want to coat this liberally. There's no necessarily set amount. We want to give this as much flavor as we can. All right, let's flip it. You notice I'm using my right hand as my clean hand, and I'm using my left hand to flip the butt. I'll flip it back over because we're going to cook it with the fat cap down. And now let's just take these peppers, just shove them up in the cavity. You can put whatever you want in here, as much as you can fit. This is plenty enough for me. We do like the jalapenos though, so we're just going to dump those in there like that. And since they're diced up really, really small, they're not going to take up a lot of room. And we're going to do the same with the red onions. And if they fall out, I'm not really concerned about that. Okay, so now I'm going to get my butcher string and I'm going to tie this up. All right, so we just finished tying it up. Let's cut these couple of loose strings off. I'm going to get the green egg up to 250 degrees and we'll put it on there. Okay, you can see there's our aluminum pan with our marinade in it, and I added the apple juice, and there's our roast. We just had a couple of pieces of pepper that fell out. We're just going to set them on the grill and let them cook. This is a 7-pound Boston butt. We're going to leave it on here for about 8 to 10 hours. We're looking for an internal temperature of 203 to 205 degrees. Once we get there, and we'll take it off. So let's shut this thing down and let it cook. I will be spritzing it periodically with apple juice, but it's going to be an hour and a half, 2 hours before we even have to start with that. All right, we're 4 hours in at 150 degrees. We've been spritzing with the apple juice. That looks good, doesn't it? All right. What we're going to do now, we're going to run our ThermoPro probe in here. We're at 4 hours now, so this will give us a reasonable expectation of what we're doing. We're currently at 150 degrees internal, and we're going to keep going until we hit about 200 to 205. So let's let it go. All right, so we're at 178 internal, and what we're gonna do is cooking really good. So we're gonna take just some liquids. In this case, it's a dragon fruit flavored water. We're just gonna put it in here, give it a little bit of moisture. We're gonna seal it back up. Okay, so the last thing we want to have happen is for our roast to dry out. So we're gonna kick our probe back in. We're at 173 degrees internal, and we're getting close to the end. All right, looks like we're done. Let's take this thing off. Let's take this and get this thing in the pan. Okay, let's get these strings off here. All right, we've had this Boston butt resting for 30 minutes. Good time to draw all them good old juices back up in there where they came from. All right, so let's take us a little cut of this. See how it is in a sandwich. Look at that bark. All right. Normally I put a little sauce on here, but I got pretty good faith. Man, that's good. I do believe that may possibly be the best Boston butt I've ever cooked. And there are people that say that you can't do that on an egg, can't do a 10-hour cook without having some electronic device, or you got to sit by it all day. I don't believe that. I checked on this thing twice in 10 hours. I dialed it in, it ran. If you get yourself a big green egg, probably do it with a Primo or a Kamado Joe as well, I guess. I know if I can do it with an egg, you can do it. That does it for this edition of Grilling with Granddaddy Daddy. I hope y'all enjoyed it. And until next time I see y'all at the grill, y'all keep on grilling. I will.